Hi everyone, some gamer dude here, and yes, Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. This one's being recorded before the video for Crystal Beasts, but I just want to talk about something before we look at starter deck Yuya here. And yes, I'll answer the elephants in the room. I do like Pendulums. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is actually the third time I think I've tried to get into, fourth time I've tried to get back onto Yu-Gi-Oh! Since this channel started. The first time was Speed Duels, which I enjoyed enough, but I didn't like it as soon as it went to booster packs. No one did, that's why it became a sealed product, which was a good move on Konami's part. It read the room, it read the audience, and did the right thing. Second time was when the Shadow deck came out. Now, that one, friends were more interested in playing Force of Will. My local community wasn't particularly friendly. They were very standoffish. They weren't like aggressive or antisocial or whatever. It was just they were there to play, not to be friendly with make friends, which I found a bit alienating. So I wasn't really interested in playing it after that day. I enjoyed playing Shadow itself, and I actually like Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Enough. We'll be talking about that one soon enough. But I just didn't enjoy the experience playing with the community. I think it might be different had I had friends that were playing. It's like, between rounds, joke it up, be able to have fun games, and then have the serious games, have that juxtaposition. Then it was Speed Duels Bout 2. I don't even know why we didn't play Speed Duels Bout 2, the GX stuff, more than we did. I really can't fathom why we just stopped, but we did. Now, I have it sprung on me that, our friends want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. Not Speed Duels, which we could have when we already had stuff for, and Crystal Beasts are in that deck, but they wanted to play the full new Crystal Beast stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm up for Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. I'll break up my Shadow deck, I'll see what else is out there. I got some other stuff, but it also hit me that when I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Evolution on the Switch, it was my first experiences with both Xyz and Pendulum summoning. Didn't think much of Xyz, didn't care for it. Pendulum, I really liked. I thought that was neato. I thought it really suited where Yu-Gi-Oh! Evolved as a game. I do know it's got some broken cards in the Performer Pals. I think it's a monkey or a mage or something, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But I really enjoyed it. Now, I know it's been brutalized. Look what they did to my boy by Lynx, and I'm not reversing that, but I guess I had to keep Lynx relevant somehow. But, yeah. Friends don't like Lynx, so we're not using them, and we're going to use the rules beforehand. It doesn't really matter because there's no locals anymore here for Yu-Gi-Oh! If there ever does become that, probably just have this as a casual fun game and for that type of format. So I say this on the shelf, it's standard price, it's first edition, which is surprising for a 6-year-old product. I'm like, I like Pendulums, I like the Odd Eyes and Performer Pal stuff, I'll buy this and use it as a basis for a deck, plus I'll get a video out of it. And that's what we're going to do today. Now, something I do think is interesting, printed in Belgium. Now, people try to say that the Belgian, the European cardstock is better than American. Now, I don't know about American specifically, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Cardstock from here curls really badly the foils. Dual devastated till I put the cards in storage to try to flatten them. Looked like Yu-Gi-Oh! Brought to you by the letter C. They were curled that badly. So that's just my commentary for the day. The European cardstock, not what it's made up to be. Not what it's made out to be. So we get Odd Eye stuff, Performer Pal stuff, both the Magicians, some other generic stuff from the day, which is woefully unplayable. Some other cards I don't recognize. Nothing really cool like Mirror Force or Raigeki or Monster Reborn, but they're probably banned at the time. Old replacements for those cards like Lightning Vortex. We've got, surprise it's a Cockatiel, Hip Hippo I think it is. I know that one. Yeah, Hip Hippo, it says right there. I think that's a ball. and this. And this is a starter deck to get you completely started with the basics of dueling, including Pendulum Summoning. Now, I know how to do all of that. I just want to quarter start Pendulum Summoning in a deck. I would have got the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon set of 3 decks, but that's quite expensive now. For everyone saying that sealed product doesn't go up, you're wrong. Just wait to try to find it after the fact. So, a few weeks ago, I'd actually recorded another opening for other products I bought, but I accidentally deleted it, so I'm going to have to re-record that with the second and third copies that I hadn't opened yet. So, hooray for me not opening things. So let's see what we actually get. It's a standard structure deck box. Oh, it's an actual little manual for Yu-Gi-Oh! Wow, you don't see rulebooks anymore. Oh yeah, it doesn't have a QR code like the structure decks do, does it? No structure deck QR code for the rules. This must have been one of the last rulebooks they printed. Yeah. Got all your explanations. New to dueling, know your monsters. Normal summon, set. Tribute summon, special summon, it tells you the types, how a turn works. Battle with your monsters, attack versus defense. Battle position changes, flip summon, pendulum monster cards, which is what I'm interested in, how to pendulum summon. Not anymore. I'll be curious if we'll switch the pendulums to being where they are now. We'll leave them at the sides, because I actually think the side ones, they're a bit cluttered, but they're cool. Spawn trap cards, how to do that. More spawn trap card stuff. Icons and activate. Probably should include timing stuff in there. Got a playmat, it's white on the back, which is starter deck Yuya. And we get this magician guy on it, and it's the old, well, now old one, with the pendulum zones on the side. Neat. I actually like the 5D, not 5Ds, the Arc 5, or is it Arc V? Anime. I've watched a little bit of it. I think it's fun. Only the first season. I've heard it gets iffy on the second and third season, but to be truthful, it's probably the one I enjoy the most after the original. Then I'd probably go... Not Zexal. Zexal I thought was terrible. Don't like Zexal. Don't like Reigns very much. I put Reigns above Zexal. I like what I've seen of Sevens. I put Sevens around the same place as Arc 5. Then... I think GX is a lot more iconic than 5Ds in a lot of ways. I know 5Ds has a lot of fans, but I think it's a bit too serious for its own good, and it's not in a engaging, cool, fun way like the original. I just find it kind of boring. So we start with... We're going to open this first, and then we'll start looking at things. So there's the tab. Get this open. Yay, garbage. Get rid of that. Okay, so we start with... Get that. I hope that's clear. Let me just turn on all the lights. That help? Yes, it does. Perform a powerful sleight hand magician. Oh, that's curious how they put the first edition down there now. You can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one Perform a Power monster, except a Pendulum monster. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then place one face-up card, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. So, if you have anything that works... Oh no, wait, I forgot, there's a lot of timing things. I'm not sure if things triggered when discarding would work. They would work in Hyperjuken. That's not all, more Ultra Rares. Okay, Perform a Power King Bear. So, once per turn during the end phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can destroy this card, and if you do, add one level 7 or higher monster to your hand that is either in your graveyard or face up in your extra deck. So you can destroy it as a spell if it was activated that turn. And as a monster, cannot be destroyed by spell/trap effects on face-up attack position. This card gains plus 100 attack for each Perform a Power card you control during the battle phase only. Not other, so it's 23 base. really nice form. I like how that looks. I wonder how they get these effects. Perform a power Mon Carpet. It's a flying squirrel of some description. So, unless you have a card in your other Pendulum zone, destroy this card. While this card is in the Pendulum zone, any battle damage you take becomes half. That's actually pretty useful. I like that. I wonder if it's available as a common. Actually, there's no border around the art, is there? No, it's not. The art box is casting a shadow. That's interesting. So, Sleight Hand Magician has the actual artwork. I wonder if they've done that because they've had to cut down the art period. And as a flip summon, you can set one card, target one set card on the field, destroyed. If this card was special summoned, you can change it to face down defense position. See, in other games that'd be two different effects. That probably should be. But, because that reads really oddly. I don't like how that reads. But I like it as the Pendulum space. More foils. I didn't expect so many. Performer Pal Paratrio. I like the cockatiel looking one. It's got a Budgerigar's little nose things, like this is a Budgerigar. But the plumage and the cheeks are a cockatiel. It's actually the same character colours as Louise. The cockatiel in Hyperjuken, based on a prior pet of mine. She passed away this year. As a 2 in the Pendulum Zone, once per turn, if you control a Performer Pal Magician or Odd Eyes card in your other Pendulum Zone, except Performer Pal Paratrio, you can make this card's Pendulum scale become 7 at the end of the turn. So if you have the lower one, you can make it a 7. It's interesting. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon one Performer Pal monster from your deck except a Pendulum monster. And this one actually is, well, it says Pendulum there, but it's also because there's a second text. I actually wonder if there's, because I haven't looked closely enough, are there Pendulum monsters that don't have the Pendulum text? Or are all Pendulum monsters the one with the secondary text? We'll see. More foils. Performer Pal Long Phone Bull. Oh, I like that. He's got a telephone for the horns. That's neat. I like that. When this card is special summon, you can add one Performer Pal monster from your deck to your hand, except for a Pendulum monster. You can only use the effect of Performer Pal Longhorn Ball once per turn. So that's hard once per turn, I believe, in Yu-Gi-Oh terms. Performer Pal Swing Cobra, so this is our first common. Once per turn, when a monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can send the top card of your opponent's deck to their graveyard. Now, I'd wager that's actually a bad effect in current Yu-Gi-Oh! Because graveyard is another hand. This card can attack your opponent directly. If this card attacks, it is changed to defense position at the end of the battle phase. It's only 300 damage, but okay. Performer Pal Teeter-Totter Hopper. That is hard to read text. Let's zoom in. Okay. The first time this is special summon card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. Once per turn, during your opponent's end phase, you can target one level 3 or lower Performer Pal monster in your graveyard, send this card to your graveyard, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. If a Performer Pal monster is sent from your hand to the graveyard, except during the damage step, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Performer Pal Teeter-Totter Hopper once per turn. That is like 3 cards in one, 3-4 cards. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh! Has problems. But I'm not even sure if it's good. It's a thing though. Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and I'm actually a little bit upset that it's only common. I know it's got 3 different artworks, all in foil, and I'm going to have to track them all down. You can reduce the battle damage you take from an attack involving a Pendulum monster you control to 0. During your end phase, you can destroy this card. If you do, add one Pendulum monster with 1500 attack or less from your deck to your hand. You can only use each Pendulum effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon once per turn. If this card battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent is doubled. I actually really like that part, but you're probably just using this to get summoned. So before Time Gaze Magician, we have Stargazer Magician. If a Pendulum monster you control battles, your opponent cannot activate spell cards until the end of the damage step. Unless you have a Magician or Odd Eyes card in your other Pendulum zone, this card's Pendulum scale becomes 4. So it doesn't work with the Parrot card, unfortunately. Wonder why they designed it like that. Once per turn, when you have exactly one other Pendulum monster you control and no other cards, is returned to your hand by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon one monster from your hand with the same name as that returned card to the hand. Okay, so basically, if you only have one other Pendulum card and it's returned to your hand, it's bounced, you can bring a special summon it. Okay. Time Gazer Magician. Oh wow, that is tiny text. But it's not unreadable. It's about as... Wow, I'm actually curious to get the font check. But you must control no other monsters to activate this card. Sorry, no monsters to activate this card. So this has to be the first one you play. If a Pendulum monster you control battles, your opponent cannot activate trap cards until the end of the damage step. And unless you have a Magician or Odd Eyes card in your other Pendulum zone, its Pendulum scale becomes 4. So you want Time Gazer and Stargazer. Each turn, the first card in your Pendulum zone that would be destroyed by its opponent's effect is not destroyed. Perform a Pal, Drummerella. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can target that monster you control. It gains 600 damage until the end of the battle phase, even if this card leaves the field. Now that's useful with Paratrio, but you only get up to 6 stars with that. And Odd Eyes is 7, so you can't Pendulum summon Odd Eyes. And if there are no monsters on the field, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal summoned without tributing, its level becomes 4, because it's 5 normally. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster, you can target that monster you control. It gains 600 attack until the end of the battle phase. That's actually interesting because you can pump it if your opponent attacks into one of your monsters. And same with its own one, the Pendulum one. Interesting. Perform a Pal's Second Donkey. When this card is normal summoned or special summoned, you can send one Perform a Pal monster from your deck to your graveyard, except Perform a Pal's Second Donkey. If you have 2 cards in your Pendulum zones, you can add it to your hand instead. So basically, it's a search out if you have 2 full Pendulum zone. That's interesting. And it can get Pendulum cards. That's really interesting. I like that one. Hippo. After you normal summon this card, you contribute summon one level 7 or higher monster in face-up attack position during your main phase this turn. In addition to your normal summon / set, you can only gain this effect once per turn. So basically, you'll have one monster on the field, probably special summon, tribute this and it's for Pendulum. Or just Pendulum summon it, I don't know. Volcolt's Cannon. During the end phase, if this card was activated this turn, you can target one face-up spell trap on the field and destroy it. That's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad against a crystal-based deck and that. Interesting. I mean, it's probably bad in current Yu-Gi-Oh, but you get the Pendulum Zone, you get the pop on the field. I mean, if Yu-Gi-Oh was a slower-paced game, I actually think that's a really good card. Arcfiend Eccentric. That's actually pretty cool. I like the artwork. You can target one other spell and trap on the field, destroy it, both it and this card. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn. And you can tribute this card, then target one monster on the field, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Eccentric once per turn. So pop a card regardless. Gene Warped Warwolf for 2000 vanilla. Beast King Barbados. I do know this card because it's pretty old, despite the fact that this is the first time I've ever owned it. You can normal summon it without a tribute and it becomes a 1900 attacker. If you tribute 3 monsters to tribute summon but not set this card, and you destroy all cards your opponent controls. Pitch Black Warwolf, that is a really old card. Your opponent can't activate trap cards during the battle phase. Dragon Dowser, this is new for me. Worm is a new type for me as well. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or when this card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon one Earth Pendulum monster from your deck in defense position, but destroyed during the end phase. Now, Pendulum cards, I think, are destroyed. When they're destroyed, they get sent to your extra deck instead. I'll just double check that, actually, because I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Regardless of where it goes to the extra deck face up, which means this will get Odd Eyes into the graveyard, and then you can summon it. That's interesting. Giant Rat, when it's destroyed by battle, get an Earth 1500 attack monster. Hello. Perform a Pearl Dramatic Ditto. Oh, it's a field card. Okay, I didn't know we had that in here. Monsters you control gain 200 attack for each monster you control with a different type. Because all the Perform Pearls, I think, are different types. I'm not sure. Are they all... There's a lot of beasts, winged beasts, beast warriors, spellcasters, insects. Yeah, it's pretty easy to... Reptile, that's pretty easy to do. If you control 4 Performer Pearl monsters with different types, you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monsters from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Oh, that's actually pretty interesting. And it doesn't require you to do anything. Okay. Small World, all face-up monsters on the field gain 100 attack for each monster currently on the field until end of turn. That doesn't seem very good at all. Hippo Carnival. Quick play spell. Special summon 3 Hippo tokens. Beast type, Earth, level 1, 0/0. But they cannot be tributed. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck while Hippo token is in a monster zone for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. Monsters your opponent control cannot target monsters for attack except Hippo tokens. So it's basically a modified Scapegoat in a way, I guess. Interesting. I like the art. I know it's from the anime. Draw Muscle, I know this one from the anime as well. Target 1 defense position monster you control with 1000 defense or less. Draw 1 card. Also, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. It's a quick play. That's actually pretty cool. But 1000 or less defense. That's not a Giant Soldier of Stone to be battle something. I forget what his name is. Mystical Space Typhoon. Well, we all know what that does. But it doesn't negate. You got to remember that one. Do people have that through their head now? I'm actually surprised people even thought it negated in the first place. It never mentions that. Discard 1 card, destroy all face. Yeah, it's Lightning Vortex. We all know that. Book of the Moon, very old card. Lucky Iron Axe. Equip monster gains plus 500 attack. If this face-up card you control is destroyed by your opponent's effect and sent to the graveyard, draw 1 card. Now, that's actually something I don't like with equip cards. And if I designed a game with equip cards, they'd all give the monster they're attached to death trigger. So that when the monster is destroyed, you get the effect, not when the card itself is destroyed. That way, your opponent's actually encouraged to destroy them as equip cards, but if they do go for your monster and get a 2-for-1 out of it, you at least get something so it's not a complete 2-for-1. At least that's how I would design them. I don't really like the idea of equip cards how Magic makes them. No, I don't mean enchantments, auras. I mean the actual equip cards are they cross gears from Duel Masters. But that's just me. That's my taste. Burden of the Mighty. I remember this card. Each monster your opponent controls is 100 attack times its own level. That's actually not that bad. But I don't think it's very useful now. Too weak. Backup Rider Tiger. 1 face-up monster you control gains 1500 attack end of turn. Now, I actually like this one how it's balanced compared to Rush Recklessly. It's not a quick play spell, but it does much, much more. So you can only use it on your turn, but it's a massive amount. A Formal Power Showdown. Trap. Target any number of face-up monsters your opponent controls up to the number of face-up spell cards you control. Change those monsters to face-down defense position. That's actually pretty cool. But you know what it's better in? Crystal Beasts. But yeah, actually it also works in... Actually, let me just check that for a second. Because are the Pendulums considered spell and traps in every zone. It doesn't say, I'm going to have to look that up. I'll put a little comment on the video. Perform a Power Pinch Helper. I like that, it's a little cheerleader. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can negate that attack, and if you do, special summon one Performer Power monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. When an attack is declared involving a monster you control and your opponent's monster, send this card to your graveyard. You take from where? Send this card to your graveyard from where? You take no damage from the battle. But, it's not saying from where? I'm going to have to look that up. Oh no, it's a continuous trap, so it'd be on the field. So, okay. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you negate that attack, special summon the Perform Pole, and you can send this to negate basically the... Well, no, you take no damage from it, you don't negate the monster being destroyed. A bit like Wabaku. Wall of Destruction. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, all attack position your opponent's monster control, lose 800 attack for each monster they control. That's actually being really good in Duel Links, I think it was. Ceasefire, that's an old card, but I don't remember it very well. If a face-down defense position monster or an effect monster is on the field, change all face-down defense position monsters on the field to face-up defense position. Flip effect monsters not activated. Also inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each effect monster on the field. So you use that one that flips them all face down. That was Perform a Foul Showdown. Then you damage them with this. Raigeki Break, that's very old. Pinpoint Destruction. Draining Shield, very old. Not as destructive as Magic Cylinder, but I like it a lot more. Threatening Roar, your opponent cannot declare an attack this turn. Dark Bribe. When an opponent's spell or trap is activated, your opponent draws one card, also negate, and if you do, destroy. Also negate the... I don't know why it's if you do. It should be your opponent draws one card, then negate the spell/trap activation and destroy that card. At least that's how I'm reading it should be written. Maybe I'm wrong. Comments, please help me out here. Chaos Burst, this is new to me. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, tribute one monster, then target the attacking monster, destroy that target. Then inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. Okay. Pendulum Reborn, special summon one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck or one Pendulum monster from your graveyard. Interesting. We get tokens for the hippos, which I think are pretty cute. I like them. So that was the deck. I'm not sure how much of this I'd use for a Pendulum deck, but I like the cards enough to have them. I think they're neat. Probably might just end up slaving them up and putting them in the folder or something. I might actually end up collecting the Performer Pals, Magicians, and Odd Eyes cards. I don't know. But, yeah. If I do start collecting the Performer Pals and Odd Eyes and I end up making the deck, I'll keep you guys up to date as we go along. I might actually just slave this up and use this as start of that, because it's something. Till next time, guys, this has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.